Travis County Commissioners Court, including my colleagues, Commissioner Gomez, Commissioner Shea, Commissioner Trevelyan, who are here today, and Commissioner Howard, who wants to be here today. We all passed a resolution that allows us, for the first time ever, to raise the Pride flag here during Pride Month and again during the Austin Pride celebrations in August. The flag we are raising is special. It is the Progress Pride flag to place a greater emphasis on inclusion and progress. The flag includes black and brown stripes to represent the marginalized LGBTQIA plus communities of color, along with the colors pink, light blue, and white, which are used on the transgender pride flag. And I need to say thank you to Jennifer Green. I think she's here in the audience somewhere. Please wave if you're here. Are you here, Jennifer? I don't know where Jennifer is. But anyhow, she helped us make this possible by finding the actual flag for us today. The resolution passed by court also does two very important things. First, it directs county staff to develop a procurement policy that prohibits contractors from discriminating against employees on the basis of race, color, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, or veteran status. And second, it directs our county attorney's office to explore options and draft regulatory proposals for Commissioners Court that reflect the county's intent to strengthen the protections and enforcement of civil rights within our community. These are steps towards making our community more safe for everyone, especially black and brown queer folks and the trans community who continue to face disproportionate levels of discrimination in our society. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who has helped us get this far and for all the progress that has been made over the years here at Travis County. I'm now going to pass it over to Commissioner Shea to say a few words. Commissioner, yep.
Y'all, this is a proud day at Travis County when we get to raise the official Pride flag for the first time at the county. But it's important to note, this is another step along our path at the county. Travis County has long been a very welcoming workplace. It was in the early 90s that Travis County was one of the first local governments to adopt a domestic partners program because it wasn't yet legal for gay people to marry. And so they adopted a domestic partner program that made it possible for the partners to get insurance and other benefits of an employee. So I view this as another step along the way to our welcoming and diverse culture at Travis County. And I just want to say congratulations and thanks to everyone who is involved in doing this. It's a great day.
The Dean of our delegation.
Thank you so much. And I'm very proud to say that I was here for that vote when we adopted that policy. So, but Travis County as well, as a county, has always been very open to all kinds of people getting together, sharing ideas, working on campaigns to make this county as progressive as it has been. So I really have benefited from having all of these relationships with all kinds of people in Travis County. So this is a great day. Thank you.
I try never to speak before the dean of our delegation because she brings wisdom and honor to our community. How we treat each other defines who we are as a community and as a society. That we would build communities and build relationships so our children don't grow up in fear, so that we all know that collectively we have each other's backs, so that we understand that there are still difficulties, challenges, and prejudices that exist within this society, but it's up to us to fix these problems. So what we are doing today says a lot about this community, what it is, and even more importantly, what it can become, so that we work together, that we fight together, that we build a beloved community together, will define who we are for our children and for our grandchildren. So I'm so happy that we're here today working together. Let's continue to work.
Right on. So I'm going to introduce Glenn Maxey here in 1 second, but I also just want to recognize our District Attorney, Jose Garza, who's here, and our County Treasurer, Dolores Ortega-Carter. And I see Rich Bailey, President of the Stonewall Democrats. So Glenn Maxey, longtime friend of mine, former state representative, and man about town. Please.
Thank you very much. I'm pleased to be here. I'm proud as I can. I feel like a proud papa today. I am the oldest living gay fossil in Travis County. I have been here through this battle for over 40 years. And as we raise a pride flag in Travis County, it's important to remember what we're proud of. LGBTQ and questioning individuals are proud of who they are as contributors to our city and our county and our community. You know, there wouldn't be weird if it wasn't for us. It wouldn't be art if it wasn't for us. It wouldn't be an environment and a business community and all that is included in the fabric of Travis County. You know, we are the weird, we are the blue and the blueberry and the tomato soup. We are all of that. But just very quickly, this community, Austin, Travis County, the first in the nation, other than San Francisco, to adopt a fair housing ordinance that was taken to the voters of Travis County in 1980, where the voters said, we stand with our LGBTQ brothers and sisters. The first in the nation county, or city, to adopt an anti-discrimination ordinance on housing, public accommodations, and employment discrimination. The first to have an HIV non-discrimination ordinance in the nation. Domestic partnership, the Travis County Clerk's Office and the Travis County Commissioners adopting that more before almost any other nation, city in the nation and county in the nation. We've been the first on almost everything. I'm proud of today. I'm proud of the history of this community. And let me just say, this fight is never going to be over as long as anybody faces issues about who they are. You know, we have major problems within treating people correctly and appropriately in our criminal justice system, in our economic system. Everybody has to have a piece of this pie. I'm just proud that in Travis County, us queer folk, we've been leading the way. Thank y'all very much.
Thanks. And now I'm going to introduce KB Brookins, founding executive director at Embrace Austin, pronouns they, them.
What up, what up? I'm KB. Got a couple things to say. Thank you so much. I'm a Black, queer, non-binary poet and organizer, among other passions and practices. I'm here today representing Embrace Austin, a coalition of queer and trans people pushing for change in Central Texas. Thanks to Travis County Judge Indy Brown's staff for having me, and thank you to so many of my colleagues who have spoken truths up on this podium today. I've been tasked with talking about what Pride Month means to me and why it matters to publicly celebrate the LGBTQIA+ community in this way. I want to first start with a couple of things that feel like celebrations to me. A celebration is LGBTQIA+ Texans feeling like they have a voice in what Texas looks like. A celebration is LGBTQIA+ Texans seeing their best interests represented in every Texas legislative session. A celebration is intersex Texans having bodily autonomy and health providers who understand their needs and are ready to service them. A celebration is an X gender marker on state IDs, driver's licenses, and birth certificates. A celebration is a queer cultural center in Austin and every city with an LGBTQIA plus population, hence, which is every city in Texas. A celebration is gender diverse Texans like myself not having to explain their humanity and have their identity invalidated in every day that they are in this state. A celebration is adoption and foster care non-discrimination protections for LGBTQIA plus Texans. A celebration is housing, public accommodations, and credit and lending non-discrimination laws for us. A celebration is inclusive sex education, conversion therapy bans, marriage and partner benefits at every entity that offers benefits to its employees, etc., etc. So all of the things I just named are things that are not presently happening in Texas. Some are also not happening in Travis County, so while we celebrate this flag raising, know that there's too much work that still needs to be done. This year's legislative session in Texas presented the most anti-LGBTQIA plus legislation in the U.S., and it would be remiss of me to celebrate this achievement and not bring that reality into this room. I implore everyone celebrating this monumental moment to do the following. 1, extend your support to us past Pride Month. We need every ally to be opposing anti-LGBTQIA plus legislation at these protests, helping the movements happening city and statewide as much as possible. Organizations I suggest to support during this year's special session are Equality Texas, Transgender Education Network of Texas, and the Texas Freedom Network, who is going to be speaking a little bit later. 2, donate to queer and trans liberation at embraceaustin.com/donate. We are a small nonprofit that stretches every single dollar that we have to go towards our most impacted community members. 3, listen to this live stream again and again and again to feel the weight of some of my not yet realized celebrations that I'd love to celebrate one day in Texas. Bring your own expertise to the fight for queer and trans liberation, and I will leave you with the words of Lucille Clifton. Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. Thank you.
All right, up next, we've got Alicia Rothweigle, intersex advocate, pronouns she, they.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alicia Rothweigle. I'm a human rights commissioner for the city of Austin and here as an advocate on behalf of the intersex community. And intersex might be a word that y'all have never heard before. You may have wondered what that I stood for in the LGBTQIA+ acronym, and so far it's mainly stood for invisible. But we're here today to claim our space, and I'm here to educate y'all a little bit about what it means to be intersex. So intersex is an umbrella term that encompasses the nearly 2% of the world's population that is born with physical traits and sex characteristics that fall between the male and female binary. So basically, whether it's chromosomes, hormones, external genitalia, or internal reproductive organs, our bodies fall between that neat little male and female box that appears on a birth certificate. So for me, I was born with XY chromosomes. I had internal testes instead of a uterus and ovaries. And my body would have naturally converted the testosterone that my testes produced into estrogen. It's kind of a superpower. Pretty dope, right? Unfortunately, not all doctors see it that way. And there are still forced and non-consensual normalizing surgeries happening on intersex children across this state. So as an infant, I was forced sterilized. My body autonomy was taken from me when the decision of when and whether to have children was robbed from me. And because of this surgery, I now rely on external hormones that I wouldn't have needed otherwise. So we're here with a message for y'all, which is to change your hearts, not our parts. There's nothing wrong with being intersex, just like there's nothing wrong with being trans, with being gay. All of our queer community has experience with being pathologized by the medical community, and whether they tried to electric shock therapy the gayness out of you, or now we see doctors using scalpels on intersex kids to try to operate our existence from our bodies, they can't take our identities from us. And so I'm here today to make sure that any work that this county does, thank you so much, County Judge Brown and Mulaney and everyone here for inviting me to speak. We need more intersex representation, not just in the broader Travis County community, but within all of the queer organizations that stand behind me and all of the work that we do collectively as a movement for liberation. Thank you so much for listening. We're not rare. We're actually 1.7% of the world's population. That's the same amount of people that have red hair. So if you've ever met a redhead in your life, you've definitely met an intersex person. Now you're seeing one standing in front of you today. We're here, we exist, and we deserve the same rights and autonomy as any other human being. Thank you so much. I'm proud to be here.
Up next, I'm going to introduce Bree Jenkins, queer advocate, pronouns she, her. Bree.
Good afternoon. Okay, my godfather's a pastor. I said good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you. Happy Pride Month. My name is Bree Jenkins. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am a Black queer woman who is excited to be a part of today's ceremony and conversation, and I thank you all for being here today. I am so honored to share this space with you, and I want to start by honoring those who helped make this Pride Month something worth celebrating. The folks at the Stonewall riots, the LGBTQIA plus public figures and activists who constantly show up, those we lost in the AIDS epidemic, our trans, non-binary, and genderqueer siblings who we've lost to violence, the LGBTQIA plus folks who have died by suicide because living in this world was too much to bear, and the many more who I have not mentioned, but I remember and honor you. Pride Month constantly reminds me that there is still something to celebrate and still so much work to do. While I am thrilled about today's ceremony, it does not mean that we get to relax. It is a reminder that we still have so much to do. We live in a state where there are pieces of legislation that is constantly discriminating against trans, non-binary, and gender fluid siblings. We live in a country where intersex folks are still being ignored, and we're living through a time where reproductive rights, which affect all humans, are being targeted. And please, do not forget the folks that can be both LGBTQIA+ and people of color, people with disabilities, immigrants, etc., because those intersections legitimately exist. Today, I'm grateful for this proclamation and the flying of this progressive flag as a way to remind us, Austinites, that we live in a city that is working to be more inclusive, but remembering that Austin is still Texas and that there is work that needs to continue on. Thank you.
All right, up next, we're going to have Ash Hall, non-binary advocate, pronouns they, them.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Oh, thank you very much. Now we're responding. Very good. I am absolutely elated to be here today. As was said, my name is Ash Hall, and I'm a non-binary advocate. I've been doing LGBTQIA+ legislative advocacy for 10 years. And as of this legislative session, I have at least a partial responsibility in killing over 80 anti-LGBTQ bills. And the reason that I've been able to do that is because I stand on the shoulders of giants. Pride, as we all know, was a riot against both racialized and classist police violence. It has taken a lot of blood and sweat and tears to be able to be at the point where we can march into our state capitol and demand our rights and actually have that be effective. In particular, it has been transgender women of color who've really paved the way for us, and is their leadership that I look to every single day as I think about who I want to be in this community and how I want to conduct myself as an advocate. And so, as we look at this flag that goes up over the county today, I hope that we don't just think of everybody who it touches today, but those who would have loved to see this flag rise in the past, those who made it possible for us to all come together and raise this flag over our county, and just the sheer amount of fighting that we have to do to carry on their legacy and to make sure that we're doing right by them, by ourselves, and by the future generations. Every single issue we can think of is an LGBTQIA+ issue, from racial justice to voting rights to healthcare access to bodily autonomy. So when we look at this flag, it's true that every single color on it does stand for a particular identity or a particular value, but let us also remember these flags and the colors in them can also stand for the sheer amount of movements that we are a part of and in which we light the way. So when I see this flag go over the county, I am thrilled to know that it's the county saying that they are with the LGBTQIA plus community, with us in our own fights and battles, and also willing to work with us on the plethora of movements in which we are a part. Thank you for being here today. Happy Pride.
All right, two more. We have Marty Beer, Director of Programs at Texas Freedom Network, pronouns they, them, and then Steph Adler will be next and last.
Hi everyone, my name is Marty Beyer. I am a queer, non-binary human and Director of Programs at Texas Freedom Network. We're an Austin-based statewide organization of religious and community leaders and young Texans who support equality and social justice. I'm proud to be part of an organization that brings together young people in our Texas Rising program and faith leaders in our Just Texas program who work for LGBTQ plus equality every day. I haven't been here quite as long as Glenn, but I've lived in Travis County for 24 years. Standing here now amongst all of you, I feel like I'm teetering toward the queer elder status, but I spent my college years and now my career working for equality and social justice, and I've seen a lot of change in this community. I was here and led a huge campaign on campus to say no to the Texas Marriage Amendment, where Travis County students came out in unprecedented numbers to vote against discrimination. I was here when we had to fight to allow same-sex domestic partners of City of Austin employees to have access to the same benefits that went automatically to the families of other employees, but we didn't. But we did it. It wasn't that long ago that Travis County became the very first place in the state of Texas, before Obergefell, to grant a marriage license to a same-sex couple. I've walked alongside many of you while working in the Austin City Council to see that our local LGBTQ+ community is covered by the most comprehensive set of legal safety nets we can think of. So there's a lot of satisfaction for me in standing here with our Travis County officials as they come out proudly today to demonstrate their support for equality and insist that those who contract with local government commit to non-discrimination policies. We've seen important progress at the national level, including the freedom to marry, and a current president who sees our trans community as human beings, but we still have a lot of work to do. We all know that living in Texas, in particular, means we have to keep fighting for equality every day, at the Capitol and in local communities across the state. But don't ever let anyone tell you change is impossible, that it isn't worth the fight. Pride Month means a lot of things to many people, but especially means change is possible, that the fight is worth it, and that every one of us, regardless of who we are or who we love, should be able to live our lives fully and authentically in the communities that we live in. Thank you, Judge Brown and Travis County, for raising this flag and taking these steps. I look forward to partnering with you as we continue to find more ways for our county to be inclusive and safe for our community, and to hold our ground as the best county in Texas for the LGBTQ community to live in.
All right, and our last speaker is Steph Adler, pronouns they, them, or they, zir.
I was like, wait, what? Oh my God.
Hey there, I'm Steph Adler, also known as Scapegoat. My pronouns are they and them, or ze and zer, and I'm here today with Texas Roller Derby, also known as TXRD. I'm really grateful to be able to be here today to help celebrate the importance of this event. Raising this flag is an acknowledgement that Travis County is putting intention and action into supporting the entire LGBTQIA community. Specifically, it's a symbol that Travis County is committing to prioritizing the voices and the needs of the most marginalized and invisibilized folks in our community. The experiences and concerns of queer and trans people of color need to be included at all levels of government and whenever we are discussing what the residents of this county need and want. This also signifies to me that Travis County is rejecting the recent and ongoing attempts to pass transphobic laws that would prohibit life-saving, gender-affirming healthcare for trans and gender-expansive youth, and the laws that would restrict how trans and gender-expansive youth participate in sports. I'm here today representing TXRD, Texas Roller Derby, so I'll talk a little bit about sports. For me, roller derby has been a place where I have been able to reclaim ownership of my body in a way that I was not allowed to explore as a kid, or even in many years as an adult. For some people, sports can provide an environment where we explore the power, the strength, and the determination that we are capable of. We need to ensure that spaces of inclusive, affirming empowerment exist for trans and non-binary youth where they can participate as their whole and true selves. I'm grateful to see this county take this step to ensure that in Pride Month and moving forward, we are all seen, included, and heard. We all deserve the space and support to live our lives honestly and to be whole. Thank you for having me here today.
All right, thank you all very much. Representative Maxey reminded me that we should take a moment to remember Pat Kramer, who is an activist here in Travis County and that passed away, and that we are going to raise this flag in memory, in part, Pat Kramer and all the activism. So thank you, Glenn. Okay, so that's everything. We're going to raise the flag up now physically. I have recently torn a bicep, so I'm going to need some help, maybe from the other folks who spoke. We'll do that, and then if y'all want to talk to any of us right after we do that, we are going to be here for a bit. So thank y'all so much for coming, and thanks for being part of this day. Generation.